Flosstube! How are you doing? Hope everybody is doing good. I'm trying to remember what Flosstube number this is. This is Flosstube number 65. Hope everybody is doing well. I hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. And that your June is off to a good start. It's hard to believe we're already almost halfway through the year. It's flying by, isn't it? So I've got a little bit of a different setup with my camera. I apologize, I've not got all the kinks worked out. This is a setup that I use for something else in my life, and it was just easier for me to leave the camera set up how I've got them. I do have an overhead view for you to be able to see some of my stitching, so it won't be me kind of sitting in a door frame the entire time. But anyway, let's get into the stitching. So this last couple of weeks, I'm going to quit making plans entirely, because every single time I try to make a plan, something happens to where I end up not able to do it. So, funny story, before I show you my actual stitching. In true fashion, of course, I have to tell you some kind of story before I show you stitching. So, last weekend, over Memorial Day, I had all of these plans. Like, I had got all of my housework done, got all my chores done, and I was going to just sit and stitch all weekend long. Well, my husband and my son had been working on my son's truck, and they tore it down about 2 years ago and got really frustrated with it and haven't worked on it since. So with my son graduating high school and him getting into life, like, he's got to have his vehicle. He's not really wanted to drive after getting his license that much anyway, but he's getting there now that he's out of school. So they go outside and they're trying to put this vehicle back together. And my husband he can't find bolts to put stuff back together. Like, he can't figure out where this connector goes, where this hose goes. Well, random fact you probably don't know about me. Whenever I was growing up, my daddy was always working on stuff. And I burned down a truck. That's a whole nother story for another time. But I burned down a truck. So one of my punishments was I had to help rebuild that truck. And so I got a lot of experience working on vehicles, which I love, because as a female, I have actually had times where somebody was trying to pull the wool over my eyes, and I know enough to, kind of stand up for myself. I even went so far as to get into the auto mechanic classes. I took probably 4 courses on auto mechanics, because I thought that's what I was going to do. I was young and had no clue what I was wanting to do, and so I ended up figuring out that's too much physical labor for me, but I do have some knowledge. So, and I hear a kid yelling, so you're probably, hang on, let me mute you so you don't hear me yelling. Okay, sorry. So he got frustrated and he was like, I need your help. So it was Friday. I went out there and I was like, okay, I'll help you for a couple of hours. And then it ended up me getting up on top of the truck, helping put heads back on and intake and all these, basically helping the entire weekend putting the truck back together. So he had lost bolts. I had to look at wiring diagrams. I had to look at vacuum hose diagrams. I know that's more than what you wanted to know, but because I was involved with all of that stuff unexpectedly, my hands were covered with grease. And so I was washed and scrubbed and soaked and still was getting stuff off, and I was afraid to get it on my cross stitch. I did use gloves, but I would tear them, and I would forget I didn't have them on and touch something, and it was just a mess. So I did not want to get anything on my cross stitch, so it kind of put a damper in my plans a little. I still have got a little bit because my skin's so dry, but it's not coming off anymore. So it was good because I got to go out and spend time with my husband and my son, but I did not get to do any of the plans that I had planned to do. So it wasn't it wasn't my plan. It wasn't my plan. Anyway, so we get the truck put all back together, because I know that's probably what you're going to ask. We get it all put back together, and we're like putting the fluids back in it. And I told my husband, I said, okay, we got the parasteric fluid in it. I was like, we need to get the antifreeze in it. So I started filling it, and I start hearing water falling. And I'm like, this is not good. So we get under it and look, and it's coming out between the engine and the transmission. You probably don't want to know all this, but one of the issues with the truck, what they had tore it apart to do, was to replace freeze plugs in it. And so my husband and I we have communication problems. And it's hilarious because I have a master's degree in communication, visual communication design. And so when I ask a question, I say, honey, did you change the freeze plugs? To me, in my head, that means, did you change all of them? But my husband heard, did you change some of them? So he changed freeze plugs in the block, but he didn't check them, in the heads, but he didn't check them in the block. So he had to pull the transmission out, and there was freeze plugs that was blowed at the bottom of the engine. And so he's been out there all week long. He keeps trying to get me out there to come get on my back and get into that truck and help. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. I hurt so bad for several days after getting out there. I am too old to be climbing around on top of a vehicle. And I certainly ain't getting under it because I'm claustrophobic like that. So he's still working on it. He's got to get the drive shaft back. And then the intake was leaking, so he's got to take that back apart. Psh, psh. I said, I'm done. Done. He did listen to me, though, because I got so frustrated that he didn't know where bolts and screws were to put the truck back together. And so he did listen to me. And so when he took bolts or screws out, we took a piece of paper and labeled where it went, put it in a baggie with the bolts and the label telling where they went. So now he can actually put the truck back together without my help. But it's always something. Always something. So that's my little tale of the week. And then I had 2 sick kiddos on antibiotics. And so dealing with sick kids on top of trying to do integrate testing and then all of that with my husband, life has happened. I've come to the acceptance that life is what it is. So if I came to you last week, I wouldn't have had much to show you. So I have got stitching done. So we're going to shut up now and we're going to dive into stitching. So the first thing I did want to show before I switch the camera view, I got my pillow finished. I'm so excited with it. I just did a solid background. And I got my zipper in, and it's so cute. I'm thrilled to have it done. And I did actually have this done for Memorial Day. But I didn't get my table runner finished. I didn't get hardly anything finished, so I'm still working on stuff. But there's my pillow. I got it done. Alright, so I'm going to switch the camera to overhead view and show you some stitching that I come across that I've got to get finished. I got to thinking, I've got so many projects going, but I don't have that much to put out. Well, it's because I've not fully finished stuff. So I want to kind of show you a couple that I'm going to be working on the next couple of weeks to get fully finished and out in my house. And then I've got a little bit of haul, and I'm going to show you what stitching that I have got. So let's switch the camera and let me show you my my finishes from before that I've got to FFO this week. Alright, so this is one that I did, I think last year, or maybe the year before. This was a Primrose Cottage piece, United We Stand. So I've got to get this one finished and get it out. And then this one, I think, was a freebie by Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting. So I found that one, and I need to get it finished. And then, of course, Primrose Cottage, Summer Wishes, and Bumblebee Kisses. It's cute. I got to get it done because summer is going to be here before we know it. So this one I finished. This one I was so in love with doing. I was a monogamous stitcher for this piece, and I really got this one done really quick. So I love this one. I was thinking I need to do like the watermelon and the ice cream by itself because they're so cute, and I like this word lemonade, so I might do it by itself, but I need to get that one finished and get it out. Alright, these are some ornaments that I had done for my sons. There's another one somewhere. We went through a long phase of playing Monopoly together, And so these were some of my kiddos' favorite Monopolies, and I intended to have them finished as an ornament this last year. I love to watch Made by Michelle McGraw with the ornaments that she does for her sons, and I've always wanted to be able to have my kids' ornaments to pass it down to them when they get married and get out on their own, or, you know, just get out on their own or whatever. So I've got to get these two finished. This was another one. I don't remember who the designer was for this one. I don't remember if it's Primrose Cottage or Stitching with the Housewives. But that one's so cute. That will go along with summer really good. I like that one. And then these, again, I think these are Stitching with the Housewives. Fresh Lemonade. And then Hello Summer. And then this one I know is Primrose Cottage. It is Welcome Spring. I should have already had this one done and had it out. But I've still got a little bit before summer gets here. This is a Lizzie Kate. It says, do small things with great love. Need to get that one finished. This is one by Primrose Cottage. Another patriotic I need to get done and get out. This is another Primrose Cottage. Hello Sweet Summer. I don't know why I ain't wanting to focus. Sorry. This camera sometimes goes nuts. Got that one done. More patriotic ones. This one is from Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting, Land of the Free. And another one by Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting, Liberty. And then this one is my big one. This one I have got such memories. I stitched this one whenever my son was in the hospital. This one's been in a lot of places with me. I need to get it done and get it out. And then I found some other ones that are not in this season, but these are some small ones I need to get done. So this little turkey, like I need to get them done before I need to put them out. It's a little dark. And then this one, super cute. And I do have more, but these are just the ones that I've pulled out to get finished. And then there's the February cottage. I got to thinking it's the start of a new month for June. I thought, I want to pull June out and start. Then I thought, no, because then I wouldn't be ready to put it out. So I think I want to go ahead and start on the July cottage so that I can get it fully finished and have it out for July and start working on these about a month in advance. So those are some that I have got to get finished. Just got to do it, got to do it. Alright, so I did get a tiny little bit of haul. I'll show you all of that together in just a minute. So let's talk about stitching for a few minutes. We had several days here that was really rainy, really cold, and it felt like fall. It did not feel like spring. It did not feel like summer. It felt like fall. So I wanted to pull out a couple of fall pieces and work on them. And of course, in true Kylie fashion, I only got to do a little bit. So I got that far. Had this much done. I think I had the rules and the pumpkin done. And I finished the word autumn and put the little bird on it. So now I'm done. I'm ready to go back and do the bottom part of it. If you see right here, I've got visit the pumpkin patch. So I got to do rake leaves, go on a hayride, and make pumpkin pie. Oops, sorry. Would it help if I showed it to you? So let me pull up my stitching up. So I got a little bit on that one. I was thrilled to death. And then I had a finish this week. So excited. I got Hello Spring finished by Primrose Cottage Stitches. And the hoops, I'm sorry, the hoops are in the way. But there is my finish. It's so cute. I need to get that one FFO'd this week too. So many I need to get finished. Put that back in here. If you hear random guitar sounds, bass guitar, I'm sorry. I have 3 boys who play instruments, and it never fails that they wait until I start recording that they all decide to play. So you're liable to hear anything. Alright, this one is by Tiny Modernist, Crab Dance. Sure you can bring it up and see it. And then sorry for my thread in the way. This one I have stitched on in some doctor's appointments this week. So I like having that portion in the middle that I can fill in. I haven't got to work on him as much, but I was able to stitch being in a doctor's appointment because I had this one as fill-in work, which has been nice. Alright, the next one is Summer Quaker by Lila's Studio. And I'm going to take this one out of my snap, so bear with me just a second. I decided that I needed to have a plan for what I wanted to try to achieve. Again, I make plans and the universe laughs. But I thought with this one, if I could do this section and this section in July. And this one this one in June, these 2 in June, this one in July, and then this part in August. And try to have this whole thing done by autumn of this year. I think I could get it done. So it has helped to kind of think about what my goals are. Instead of just, okay, make 300 stitches. You know what I mean? Like, this will push me to actually get a pretty good bit done. So, here is what I have got so far. Strand. So, I was to about, I think right here or right here. So, I finished up this border up here. And then went ahead and put in the corner. So, I've only got this little bit at the top and then close this, and that will be this whole inside section that will be done. Because reason I did it that way is I got a little panicked that if I was going to have enough up here, and I got panicked that I was going to have enough down here. But the bottom of this motif is where the bottom of it is. And then up here the pattern doesn't go beyond this point. So I'm going to be good. But I'm so excited. It's filling in, it's doing good. I'm stitching mine on Vanilla Cream 28 Count Lugana by Rogue. And that's that one. So stitched on that one. Let's see, I did not stitch on that one. I'm looking at those that I've stitched on. Okay. The next one is Simple Life by Teresa Kogut. Sorry for the glare. It just is what it is. Let me pull it up so you can see it. I love this one. There's something about this one when I work on it. It makes me feel so peaceful. So I had like, I think this side and up through here done. So I added all of this in the house. I added these fence posts so that I could get down and do the bunny and the beehive. I don't know what it is. When I work on this one, it makes me want to take a nap. But again, I still have the same thought process. I could do all this fill-in work at StitchCon. I could finish out the fence at StitchCon. I'm going to get down here to the water. Let me pull it up so you can see. Down here to the water. Get that ready to fill in at StitchCon. Yeah. So that's where I got on that one. Got a Christmas one here I worked on. Pull it over. What do y'all think about this view? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What's your thoughts? Where's my Christmas one I worked on? Oh well, I don't have it. Let's put it away. So that is what I have worked on. That is it. That is what I have worked on. So let's talk a little bit about haul, shall we? Shall we, shall we? That we shall. Hang on, I've printed off the stuff I wanted to show you. Now it better be here in my bag. Does that happen to y'all? You think you're prepared and then you sit down to do it and then you can't find it? Snag dab it. Smack dab it. Let me see. Oh yeah, here it is. I found it. Alright, so my June Cottage Garden Thread Club came this week. This is a, they send you 5 a month through Barefoot Needle Art. And so this is their June thread pack. I love that it's got like patriotic themed colors to it. Alright, and then I bought some Etsy patterns about a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, and I had forgot to bring them, so I did actually remember, and I was going to show them to you. So this is Stars, Stripes, and Strawberries. It was an Etsy pattern by Needle Treasures Nook, and it's just a really small pattern, really cute. So I got that one. Then I got Stars, Stripes, and Blooms by the same designer. And there's what it looks like. Thought it was cute. And then I got Garden Treasures Watermelon. Again, I was looking for some smalls that I could get done pretty quick. So that one is super cute, I thought. I have got some really cool plans with this one, and I can't tell you about it, but I will tell you about it whenever I can. When I can. So that's all of my cross stitch haul. I did order these vintage Christmas charm packs to make me some project bags. If I can get it out, I'll show it to you. If I can, if I can, if I can. Golly, how in the world did they get that in there? Alright, so quick flip. Here we go. And I tried to order coordinating fabric of this to make on the inside or the back, and they was sold out already. So I ordered these off of Fat Quarter Shop. Got 2 of those. And then I ordered 2 of these Raspberry Summer charm packs. Let me do a quick flip through these. A lot of teals, a lot of pinks, just bright springy colors. So I've got those 2. Then I got On Dasher charm pack. Let's see if I can flip them really quick. These are really muted. I like those. Really muted. I tried to call my local. There's a quilting shop near me, but they don't carry any of the Moda fabrics, and that bummed me out. Alright, this one is called Summertime. Sorry about the camera, y'all. Like, I don't know what the problem is. Little flip through of those. more pinks and reds in it. And then I got Sunday Brunch, another Moda pack, so that I could make me a bag. And then I got Berry and Pine. These are really pretty. Yep. So I got 2 of those. And that's about it. I did sew let me switch my camera back so you can see me while I'm yakking at you. I did sew a project bag this week using one of the charm packs, but I didn't get it completely finished, so I'm not going to show you that. I'll show you that next time when it's actually done. But then other than that, it was tending to kids, helping husband with a car, and then stitching whenever I could, and amongst all the new job training and stuff. Yeah, so that's about all I got to show. I am working on, so I designed a cross-stitch book called My Cross-Stitch Diary. It's available on Amazon now. It was exclusive to Barefoot Needle Art for the first year. And it worked great, but if I didn't have my physical book with me, I don't know. I've always been a paper and pen girl, and then here lately I have really changed, and I really enjoy doing stuff digitally for the sake of no matter where I am, I can get to it, and it syncs up. So I'm in the process of creating a OneNote notebook file for me to keep all of my trackers in, keep my storage for my flosses and patterns that I've got, stuff like that. Still in a preliminary stage, but yeah, that's about all else I'm up to. As far as what I think, I'm not going to make plans because every time I make plans it don't work. My thoughts are to do Red, White, and June along with trying to get some of my summer pieces done. So the summer sampler, the summer Quaker, and then I've got several summer pieces, like old pieces that I need to put some stuff in. My new plan for stitching is going really good. I feel like it keeps me on track to where if I'm overwhelmed, I'm like, I just have to get this done, and then I'm in the mood to stitch, and I keep stitching. So I'm going to keep doing that. Yeah, and then I've got StitchCon coming up, so I've got to decide exactly what I'm going to work on. I've got to get my small done for the Smiles Exchange. And yeah, time's flying, y'all. As I get older, it just seems like time flies so fast. Well, that is all that I have got for this week. As far as floss tubes that I've watched this week, it's pretty much been the ones that I typically watch. I have seen Just Keep Stitching with Pam and Stephanie before, but you know how it is, you get in a groove of what you watch and you forget about things. And so I got back to watching theirs again. I've laughed my tail off. That's been one that I put on to watch when I need to laugh. So I have been binge watching them the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Since I'll get to see them when I go up to StitchCon. And I did take a screenshot of the different floss tubers who are going to be at StitchCon. I've been trying to go through and watch some of them as I've got time. But again, haven't had a lot of time. But I'm looking forward to meeting everybody. I'm looking forward to going and having the experience and all of that good stuff. Well, that is it, Flosstube, for this week. I hope you have a great week and you'll come back and join me next time. And take care of yourself and spend time with those that you love. See you next time.